Years ago, I took Heather out on a date. We were pretty early in our relationship, and but I noticed she wasn't looking at me. She kept looking beyond me and off to the side, and I kept, kind of looking back. I didn't see anything, and so I eventually asked her, "What are you looking at?" And she began to weep as she told me that there was a woman back there who was sitting alone, and she looked very burdened, and she looked hurting, and she looked just really lonely. And Heather, who's great, if you know Heather, she has a tender heart, and she has a gift of empathy. And her heart was going out, but part of it was because Heather knew what it was like to be alone. She knew what it was like to be invisible and burdened. And so her heart went out to her. It reminds me, and this is one of Heather's favorite verses in Genesis chapter 16, Hagar is fleeing from Abram and Sarai in a difficult and challenging situation there. And she's all by herself, and she's running away. And the angel of the Lord, really God himself, finds her. And he tells her, that he's going to give her a son, and he gives her some words of encouragement. And then she says in verse 13, "You are the God who sees me." Such a beautiful phrase there, a name of God, that he is the God who sees us. He knows what we're going through. And today, he knows what you're going through. He knows the hurts that are burdening you and weighing you down. He knows the things that no one else does. He is the God who sees us. And it's such encouragement to know that. But you know what? He expects us to see the invisible people as well, the burdened people, the ones that people avoid. There was a guy years ago when I was ministering at a church that no one wanted to be around. In fact, you didn't ask him how he was doing because you would be there about 30 minutes listening to how he was doing, and it was never good. But even I struggled. I started to avoid him, but the Lord convicted me, and he said, "Curtis, he needs someone to listen to him. He needs to feel significant." And those are the people sometimes that are hard to love on, but those are the people Jesus would love on. And he's calling us to do the same. So one of the benefits of the trials is that we've gone through challenging situations, and he saw us, and now we need to see others. We go through difficult situations so that we can empathize, just as Heather did with that one particular woman, with others. Jesus, in Hebrews chapter 2, it says that Jesus was tempted in all ways so that he can aid us when we're tempted. And in ministry, one of the things you'll find really quickly is that people will say, "You don't know what it's like. You haven't been here. You don't know how much it hurts." And one of the best things a minister can do a lot of times is just listen and not have answers to them, but because a lot of times we haven't been there. But you know what? Sometimes first of all, Jesus has. Even though I haven't, Jesus has. He's been tempted in all ways so that he can help us when we're struggling and going through the tough stuff. But sometimes we have a testimony that can connect with someone. 2 Corinthians chapter 1, I believe it's in verses 3 and 4. It says that God is the God of all comfort, who comforts us in our affliction so that we're able to comfort others in their affliction. So one of the benefits of going through difficult situations and trials is that we can comfort others when we have received the comfort of God. You are going to be able to connect with someone because of your testimony and because of your situations that I would never be able to. The person that would say, "You don't know what it's like to me," would see that you've been through something similar, and they would say, "Okay, yeah, you do know what it's like." If you've lost a child, if you've lost a parent, if you've been in a situation where you didn't have any money, someone that's been in that type of situation is much more likely to be able to make a connection and be able to offer encouragement and hope. And so your past, your testimony, God wants to put people in your path so that you can share that with them. The comfort and strength that you've received from the Lord, he wants you to impart it to others. There's somebody that needs to be seen today, and I'm hoping that you will see them. And that when you do, you'll step into it boldly and offer the words of a loving God and hope and encouragement to go with it. God sees you today. He loves you and He blesses you. And He has put people in your path to offer encouragement to you. And now He wants you to do the very same thing to them. Today is just such an amazing day. The Lord loves us. He sees us. He's on the throne and Jesus is coming back soon. And I'm believing that God has a purpose for us today. Let's find it and let's step into it. Have a great day.